Hey everybody, Goat here. I wanted to make a video on the launchers available for the Engineer class in Battlefield 4. The Engineer is actually my favorite class. I love firing the launchers at things. I've spent a lot of time working with them, reading on them, and I want to pass that knowledge on to everybody. I'm just going to work down the list, and this is essentially, I'm going to work on the ground launchers right here, and then I'll do the air at the end. And this is the order that they come unlocked in, so it should be pretty straightforward. So we'll start off with the MBT Law. This is the default one you get when you start out as an engineer. And I'm here on the test range just because I can control the angles and everything and the distances and all that. I don't have to go through tons and tons of game footage to get you the information. And I can show you the part about the angles. And my next video actually will follow up with that, because the angle that you shoot at the tank and where you shoot the tank actually matters. Now, this one here, the law, the nice part about it is it doesn't matter where you shoot, because it is going to do that. Go up over the top and come down. It takes 5 shots to kill a main battle tank. Now, 5 shots sounds like a lot, but it reloads pretty quick, and as you can see, I'm actually hip firing. You can aim down the sights if you like, but you can just hip fire it, be pretty close, and it comes down and gets you a kill. Now I'm going to run over here, reload, pick the clip back up, and I want to show you the distance it can fire and how straight it is. Alright, I've got a fresh set of ammo here. I climbed up in this tower just behind the spawn here at A, and you can see there's a tank off here in the distance. Now this tank, all I got to do, let's say it was sitting still, we put it pretty much on there. The top of the T is, it's going to go just under that top line. If you aim right about where there and let her fly, you're going to get yourself a hit. You could actually aim, I think, even this high, and still it's going to come down and get you a hit. The nice part about it is it's very forgiving. It flies at a very decent rate of speed. And while it does take 5 shots to kill anything, that's a nice trade-off for the fact that you're going to get assist points. You're going to be able to hurt things enough where the driver may want to get out. So there's our 5th shot. There's a blow-up of a tank. Didn't matter which angle it's coming from. So the MBT Law is actually a good starter weapon. It's got consistent damage. It takes 5 shots to take out an APC or a tank from any angle. It has a long, straight flight, but its downside is it's actually really bad against aircraft. You can get the occasional lucky hit, but it's just not going to happen that often, and it's better suited for just shooting at the vehicles itself. I'm going to go ahead and grab an RPG here, and we'll pick up right there. Alrighty, the RPG. This is the highest damage of the launchers. The nice part about it is it does a good job of making criticals because it hits those high damage spots, and it is able to kill a tank in 2 shots. Now, the deal is, to get that 2-shot kill, you must be directly behind a tank. You can be any distance, but it has to be directly behind and shooting on at a 90-degree angle. There's 1 hit. That's probably a critical engine hit. And then we'll fire off the second one, and boom, we get a kill. Now, I was about to mention there, and I stopped, was it is a slow reload. That is a downside of this thing. It does take a little bit to fire. You put that first round into it, that tank might be turning around and shooting you, especially if it has a gunner. Now, the other downside about this thing is it has a drop. Let's see, right over there you see that bunker I was in before. I'm sorry, little tower. I'm going to have to aim right about here to get that to hit at the spot that you'd climb up in. Sorry, I always enjoy my shots. So now the farther one, we're going to have to aim a little higher if we wanted to kill whoever was in that thing. We can fire off over here. You see it drop off. We still get a hit, but it's a slow shot, and it, it drops off, so it takes some time to get used to. It is the second one you unlock, so you can get used to it pretty well, but I can't knife through there. But it is a very good one. It takes 2 shots from the rear, 3 shots from the side to kill a tank. You can get, I think it is 3 on the side or 2 from the rear, also on an APC. And the only downsides of it is it's a slow shot and it does drop off. And of note, it's not very effective against people. For instance, if I fire it right at the ground, well, of course it's not going to do it this time. Oh, there, you can actually see it. I only went down to 44% health. Now, you'd think a launcher would do better than that, but I guess they didn't want the engineer to be overpowered. So, very good launcher. I like it. It's actually my favorite. It's the one I tend to use the most. I'm going to move on here now to the SMAW. Alrighty, I'm back here now with the SMAW. Now the thing about the SMAW is it does a little bit less damage than the RPG, but the projectile flies faster. Now that of course makes it easier to get those hits. Now when I say a little bit less damage, to illustrate that, let's head right back here to the back of the tank. Now you see the back of the tank, it took what, 2 to blow up with the RPG? We'll put 1 in the back of it. We still get a critical hit, you can still see it on fire, it's still kind of a slow reload. Now the second hit, you see a real fire. Technically, right now, I could stop shooting. That tank is going to blow up unless there's a fire extinguisher equipped with a guy inside it. But he can also hop out and shoot at me. So it's not bad, don't get me wrong. It takes like one more to get a full kill. You can still do, let's see, 3 to kill a tank from the side. But the same sort of thing is going to happen. The tank's going to start on fire. I'm going to run over here to this other tank to show that you can get it with 3. Now I'll stand real close. I'll probably kill myself in the process. But I just want to illustrate. There's 1. You see a critical hit. You got the sparks and everything. There's 2. Now, it takes 3 would get you a kill with the RPG with a straight-on shot. Your third one gets you setting the tank on fire. So, RPG versus SMAW, the deal is you're going to get better shots because you can, as you're newer to things, because it will fly faster and farther and with less drop. But you're going to have to deal with the fact that the guy could get out. He has that time because he knows it's on fire. That is really a personal preference thing. Some people swear by the SMAW. Some people swear by the RPG. The other thing about the SMAW that's nice is that its fast flight time means that it's actually kind of useful to shoot at aircraft with. Now, I probably won't hit it. I'm just doing a snapshot. I'm going to give you the impression of how it flies out there. And I just missed the tail end of it snapshotting it. I mean, that was just an instinct shot. So to show how much it drops and what it doesn't, I'm going to actually shoot at that building over there to give you an illustration. I will aim at that window right there, and we'll see where it hits. It hit halfway up. It only dropped a couple of feet. It's not that big of a loss on a long travel, and it flies faster than the RPG. So this one ends up boiling down to a personal preference. I'm actually a pretty good shot, generally speaking, with the RPG, so I prefer getting that kill if I can with that little extra damage. Next up, I'm going to move over to the Javelin. Alrighty, got the Javelin here, and the thing with the Javelin is that it's a lock-on. It locks on, as you can see, just like an anti-air weapon, and by locking on, you can fire when you're ready. It also can lock on to things that people have actually target painted. You don't see that too often, so I wouldn't count on that happening, maybe if you've got a buddy that's willing to do it. It also, much like the Law, its shot goes out and comes down on top, so you're going to get consistent damage. It always takes 4 shots to go out there and blow up that tank. And that's a main battle tank because, of course, that's what everybody wants to kill. Now, the deal is, though, you notice during this time you have to hold. If you break the hold, you're not going to get a hit. That means you have to be out in the open for that that entire time it's flying out there. There's our 4th shot, and that was still from the side, from the rear, and from the front. Trust me, it hits from the top, so its damage all does the same. It is useless against air vehicles, and you can't dumbfire it. I'm hammering on the trigger right now. Now, the other thing about it is really that it reloads pretty fast, but here, let me show. If you fire it and then I stop. That's what I wanted to show. So, if I don't hold the target, let's see if I bring it back. Will it come back? It tried to. There, it did. So, you can play some tricks with it. If somebody gets behind a tree or whatnot, you can bring it back up and lock again while it's still in the air, but it's really not going to happen that often. It's really better for really open maps. If you're on the big hilly maps and where there's really not that much cover or things for you to hide behind, because the other thing is they're going to get a tone inside the tank that something's locked onto them. They might try to get behind a building. So Javelin's really good in the open long range maps. Speaking of long range, let me grab a reload and then I'll show you the range that it has. Alrighty, now believe it or not, I couldn't find a spot to get actually a longer shot because it isn't exactly flat here. But I'm at 300 plus meters at this point, and I still can get a lock on. I believe it's 350 or 400, I forget. I don't use the Javelin that often because if the tank's that far away, I really don't want to stand out in the open, and I figure they're going to go hide. But there is one trick you can do with this. It's kind of hard to do, but if you fire the first missile, and because you reload so fast, you pull it up, and you fire again, there's the first one hitting. There's the second one hitting. You can only do that at really long ranges, but it can be effective. And as I mentioned before, there also is the lock-on aspect when somebody else target paints it for you. As I understand it, it actually does more damage when you do it that way. I'd have to confirm that with Hog. We'll hop on a server here one of these nights, and we'll try that out. And if that's the case, we'll put another video out because that's actually a really cool tip. But I've never had anyone stay locked on long enough for me to know that it was 2 different shots hitting the same thing that had been target painted, because they usually only target paint it for a second, and then it blows up. or it goes and hides. So anyways, that's the Javelin. Decent weapon, decent flight time, nothing spectacular, but very consistent damage as long as you don't mind standing out in the open. Alrighty, and the last ground-based launcher that we have here is the SRAW, the S-R-A-W. Now the deal with this one is it's kind of a combo. It has the damage potential of the RPG, it has the flight speed of roughly the SMAW, and you can steer it. So it's handy that you can take it, you can drive it around. That helps you in getting those good hits, getting the right angles, getting them to land where you want. As you can see, it's going to take 3 shots to take out this tank. I can hit it wherever I like. Boom! There's the 3rd shot. Now, 2 shots from the rear, 3 shots from the side will get you a kill, and it still takes, 4 to 5, just like the RPG, to blow it up from the front, the dead front. Now, the fact that you can steer it means you can go, oh, that guy just moved. It's actually very effective anti-infantry, and if you're really good at it, you can use it as a anti-aircraft. Now, I am not very good with it, but I did manage to hit that one, so it's not too bad. It is very handy, does a high amount of damage, flies very fast. The only downside being you have to stand out in the open with it. It will fly off pretty much as far as you can see, so if you got a long open spot and you want to be a counter sniper with it, as long as you can deal with only that much zoom, you're very good with it. It also reloads very fast, and I want to show you a little trick with it, and I'll get a reload and I'll be right back. Alright, grab myself a new set of ammo, and the little trick I want to show you is you have to stay aimed in to aim, but once it gets pretty darn close, you can just go ahead and unaim, come out of your zoom and start reloading. So you can be able to go fire, let go, because it's going to hit at that range, get your next shot ready already, the tanker's going, what the heck was that? And get your 3rd shot off before he really knows what's going on. Now I let that one go pretty early trying to show you how it went. I'm aiming for the middle. There you go. Once you let go, basically it veers a little bit. Now, so the closer you are, the better chance you have of hitting what you were aiming for before it veers. So that is a handy little trick you can use with a SRAW. I'm trying to get better with this. As you saw, I did hit the aircraft. I am starting to be able to hit helicopters and stuff with it. I can hit tanks on the move. But the downside, again, you got to stand out in the open, and you're susceptible being sniped, especially after you fire once, and a sniper goes, where did that just come from? And there you are, standing out in the open again. But very good weapon, useful from medium to close range, even long range. Basically all ranges, I guess. The long range aspect being that's a lot longer to stand out in the open. So that should cover all the ground-based launchers. I'm going to quickly cover the air ones, and that'll about do it. Alrighty, the Stinger is the first anti-air one you get that's dedicated to anti-air. It requires a lock-on, and it has a range of about 350. Once you fire, you don't have to do anything. You can start reloading. It's already on its way. Of course, these drones don't really depict how much damage it takes to take down a helicopter. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 shots to successfully get one, because you're going to pull its flares, you're going to get a hit, and it's going to drop. It's going to be hard to get. I'm just saying on an average amount of time that you're shooting. But the upside is, while its range is a little shorter than the other launcher, that you fire and forget. You don't have to worry about keeping it locked on. Also, as you can see, it's useless against ground-based things. It makes that buzzing noise. Which is interesting. That buzzing noise you can actually hear when somebody's using it. You can hear that buzzing around. I've actually been able to find engineers that were using it to try to shoot down our helicopters, because I could hear it buzzing around the other room. So I'd blow up the wall and then shoot them. So it's very handy. You can get off the shots. It takes a little bit of time to lock on, but it's a very good launcher, and it's actually the first of the launchers you unlock, of all things. And I would definitely suggest getting that once you unlock it, simply because it's about free points, because everybody wants to fly something, so there's always something to shoot down. And of course, like you saw over here, you can actually lock onto aircraft that are on the ground. It's not limited to just flying ones, they just count here being on the ground. So that should be that. I'm going to switch over the IGLA. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back here with the Igla, and as you can see, I'm just out of range here at 484. It actually fires out to 450. Now, the kicker with this one is that you have to maintain lock, just like the Javelin and other lock-based weapons. So I can fire here, and it will fly out there and get me a hit. Now, it does pretty much the same damage as the Stinger, a little bit more, but the deal is that it is going to fly out that much farther. The Stinger is limited to 350. This gives you another 100 meters out to 450 to get yourself a kill. And you can also play the same trick with the Javelin, I'm sorry, like the Javelin, where you go and you lock on, fire, and then lose your lock, like such, then relock, and it will come back. And that's because it has a flight time, and it just goes off into nowhere. And there you go. We got one hit, two hit, kind of a freebie. That'll allow you to overcome some people's, what do you call that, flares and things like that. So that is very handy. Well, that pretty much covers all the launchers for the engineers. If you have any questions or, heck, any corrections, just let me know in there in the comments. And look for more of my guides here covering the different aspects of Battlefield 4. And look for Hog to chime in as well. Take it easy, everybody.